we have worked on a bunch of things, right? Create
Right.
starting from that OS that we were working on, which we apparently started but then left,
Yeah, that was one
and
of the
Kriada. Uh-huh.
no, that was one of the most unplanned things I ever did in my life.
Exactly.
Thinking,
Yeah.
I
I
would
mean,
kill
it's
big
good.
companies like Microsoft.
No, it was actually good because we did come close and we found a lot of teams to work with, and like we found these
Yeah.
people with whom we can work. And then this was this thing that we actually saw how can we develop new things. Along with that, you did learn how can you create your own kernel, and like how can
Mhm.
you create your own bootloaders and things like that. You know,
Yeah,
besides
that
going
was
inside
interesting.
all of besides going inside all of those nerdy things which we can talk about for days and days, the the next thing that we did after that was Kriyada, if I'm not
Clear.
wrong. That was it, right?
Correct.
Now the
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
is,
yeah.
Kriyada started like a chatbot. Hmm?
Chatbot. Yeah.
So, yeah.
So
Hmm.
actually, I was planning to make it a AI brand. Okay. Now what happened is,
Okay.
nor did I know AI, nor did the co-founder, nor did anyone in the team right there know AI.
Hmm.
And basically, I wanted to
Oh,
create
yeah, yeah,
this
yeah. Okay,
no-code
wait, wait,
chatbot
wait, wait,
platform.
wait, 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 wait.
Mhm.
From this, I just want to talk about how did you actually found your co-founder, because that was nice
Okay,
actually.
that was actually the biggest mistake I ever did in my life. Okay, it was like a random Telegram group. I've been talking with him for
Uh-huh.
1 month or so,
Hmm.
and I think probably we were even not knowing each other at that time.
Okay.
And no, we knew. I guess we were on this OS thing, but we were not even
Mm-hmm.
like talking a lot. I guess we got on a phone call for this thing for Kriyada. I guess for the first
Oh,
time. I do
oh,
remember
wow.
this.
Okay.
I don't think we ever
And then
got.
you
We
decided.
got on a Google Meet, but we didn't have a lot of talk, right? So,
Okay.
and I was like talking a lot with him and stuff like that, and we decided one day randomly, yeah, we will start the startup. Now, this was the most random thing, and I didn't
Okay.
have any startup knowledge, so it probably gave me the biggest lesson that always choose a co-founder who's ready to do things. The other thing is who can understand where you want to take the brand. Okay, and you have
Mm-hmm.
like what we can say a cohesive vision. Okay, so that
Uh-huh.
shouldn't differ and go in different directions. That's the most
Mhm.
important thing. It does happen, but you have to come at a point, like, there should be a
Absolutely.
common point. Otherwise the business will go in two different directions, and you won't get any supports and stuff like that.
But along with like finding this person who like understand where you wanted to take the company and all of that, you also need this sort of a friendly relation to whom you can be like, okay, I trust you that you will do this, or like
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, like I know that you know these things, and then we can like go and jam well together. And like sometimes you need this sort of a scolding that, hey, why didn't you do this thing? Like that is also required, right, in a company.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, things just gets delayed and delayed and delayed.
Deal, and that's what happened in Cursor. We'll come to that later, but
Mm-hmm.
to mention, we'll tell you what is Cursor. But yeah, Cursor was a great thing. We never did even call our members saying that काम हो गया क्या? Never. Like we were
Huh,
always like, we
huh,
knew them.
that's true. That's
It's
true.
okay. We
That's
did
true.
ask them on WhatsApp that where is the work? Can I help you and stuff? But we never.
Hmm.
Actually, we found a team that was really
Actually,
good
we
during
really
Cursor.
needed to.
Needed to, yeah.
Seriously,
Cursor was
I was
good.
like, so often I was just astonished by all of the people we were working with, simply because they were doing more work than I could have even imagined they would ever do. Like they
Yeah,
used to
yeah.
themselves arrange meets and like go inside meeting, discuss
Oh, amazing.
things, like create, like
Damn, damn,
create
damn, damn.
designs, and that was just the best thing about Cursor. But yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
like
let's not diverge too
Saket
much.
sir,
Yeah.
Saket sir,
The
Dheria sir,
that
Diti and Dheria used to take long meetings for the UI UX, and I guess
exactly,
that
exactly.
that took the UI
Yeah.
UX to a next level. Otherwise,
Yes, it did. It indeed did.
we won't be here today.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so coming like Cursor was a great thing. Starting with Kriyada, so we were on Kriyada, so it's one of the biggest mistakes I did, which I don't regret because today I know that what can go wrong. Okay, so I personally
Mm-hmm.
had to, we had to live it because it was going out
Yeah.
of control. On the other
Yeah.
hand, we didn't really like that because see, even if it was a service based start in the starting, even you were like yeah, we can get something out of it. That's why you joined us, right? Like it was not completely कि यार
Yeah.
नहीं यार कर लूंगा. It was like you
Huh.
were believing that
See,
this can be go somewhere.
exactly, exactly. So, like as far as I remember, you like called me one day talking about that you want to build a chatbot business,
Yeah,
selling like chatbots to like healthcare professionals. helping them with the health and this, right? And
Yeah.
then I was like, okay, okay, let's just do this. And then basically you were the badass Rasa developer, probably
Oh
the
no.
only Rasa developer we have
Only
in the
Rasa
team.
developer. Yeah.
And so you were like, so like you were just like developing the chatbot. I was like, yeah, you are great, but it's taking way too long now. And if we are going to scale this thing to a level where we want it, it's gonna take us forever to reach there, right? So I was like,
Yeah.
okay, like let's just do something. Can we actually use AI and sort of web scraping to like go to a website and like automatically find out all of the data and then put them inside the
Yeah,
files?
I do
Which
remember.
which which file was that exactly? Which files do Rasa use?
YAML file.
I forgot.
That's the
Huh?
YAML file, I
YAML
guess. We
file.
are talking
Yeah.
about the YAML
Like how
files, yeah.
can yeah. So like how can we actually like web scrape and then automatically arrange the data in the
Yeah.
YAML files and then basically like create a mini search engine using which you can like communicate through the chatbot,
Communicate through the
right?
whole website.
Yeah.
And
Hmm.
that was the point when I understood scalability. Before that, I
Exactly.
did know that this is going to be limited, but I didn't know what is scalability. You said, this is not going to be
uh,
scalable. Now,
hmm.
see, most of the founders would, get offended by this, but I was not offended. I was just thinking, why won't this scale? And as you told, how many people can we have under us? 200? 200 is too much. But still, as an
Hmm.
agency, you can have up to 500, man, max. Okay, max chatbot developers. You have to give a lot of people for that. Like, uh, that it doesn't end there, right? Like, if I provide a chatbot, I have to look if there's some bug in it, and if they want
Uh-huh.
any services. Though they are going to pay me every month, and maybe they'll pay
That's
even extra for the services. I have to keep a lot of people, which is
and like
just
managing all those people
mm,
is just so difficult. Like
just
managing
difficult.
managing
Yeah,
even 15 people gets a lot. Talk
gets
about
a lot.
managing 500.
And we had a very wrong pricing strategy of just $50 for per
Hmm.
month, which is very
Yeah,
bad
which
because
is
the
like
average
almost
cost of a
nothing for the
chatbot is around
chatbot.
$1,000.
Yeah.
And
At least
when I
at
saw
least for
like
an AI
Instagram,
chatbot.
Instagram had almost when the revenue
Hmm.
was like 1 billion or something, they had only 13 team members. Okay, only 13 team members, which is I just it just got me thinking. No, we can't manage so many people because it's okay.
Yeah.
Like Google and Apple can today because they have a really good infrastructure and they need it basically. Google can't do everything with
Mm-hmm.
15 people.
Mm-hmm.
They maybe they have
Mm-hmm.
more products. More products. This is over exaggerated, but more products than the population of some countries. Maybe this is over exaggeration, but yeah, they have a lot
Most
of
likely
products, man.
not. Most likely not.
Okay.
But yeah, like I mean, they have more than a few hundred projects going on at the same time. Like a lot of them that they kill and a lot of them that they just keep and things like they combine and like most of them maybe they don't even come out because it's just an in company thing that they built for themselves for them to use on their own.
Yeah. So coming to that, Kriyada was a very bad experience, but it
It
was
was a
a
bad
lot to
experience,
learn.
but still we did get to learn, and now we
A
know that
lot to
you
learn,
are the
man.
best chatbot developer out there.
Oh
And
no,
that
man.
was like the first
I
service-based
can't
thing
even
that
put a
we did.
SSL right now. We did
That's
try again to build this agency, but didn't catch up, and it was taking basically a lot of time.
yeah,
And we
yeah.
always we
Mm.
always switch to agency, but then we come back to products for some
Ah,
for some reason. We'll
and
talk
we
about
just talk
EQP
about
at last.
this. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly,
we'll talk about
exactly.
EQP. But so coming to this, like very main aim is like very core of the podcast, that is what
Just
service
talking
based versus
about
product based.
yeah.
So see, this was the service based brand. So you have to give your service, and let me tell you, money is always going to be limited in service based brands, though you can make a lot of money. That's a different thing.
Hmm.
But still you're trading your time for that. Time is limited, money is also coming limited. Like
Yeah. But
money is
how
also
will you
going,
actually
going to be
classify
limited.
McDonald's in this case? Is it
See,
a service
McDonald's
based or
is
a product based?
they see
Kind of
McDonald's
an
has a
intersection
product.
of both.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of an
Like McDonald's
intersection
has a
of
product.
both.
See, you can't tell them to. Maybe they have, but I have never seen them asking me, "Oh, like, do you want to leave?
Asking the
You
customer.
want me? Do you want cabbage in this? Do you want
Uh,
sauce on this? Do you want
no,
cheese
but
in
they
this?" No,
do
they have
give
like
some
standard
customizability. Something
burgers,
like something like Starbucks. They do ask you, what exactly do you want in this? Like, do you want ice or do you want milk or this and that? So
right? Hmm.
Maybe I think a lot of these brands who actually give physical goods, they line some sort of an intersection of service based as well as product based, which is like a lovely place to be in. If you see something like Tesla, okay, at the end
Hmm.
of it, they are also making cars, and they like they make a bunch of cars, and they are again limited by the physical structure that they have. So if like all of a sudden they have this surge of a lot of new cars coming in, they need to open up new factories, and they need to open up new things in order to go in, like in order to just to produce new cars, right? So like that
Right.
is kind of like a limitation that you have in a product lineup.
Product
Whereas,
lineup. Right.
sorry, in a, I mean, in a service lineup, when you see a product based company, something which is like entirely product based, something like Google, if they have a huge surge of people, all that they need to do is like install a couple more data servers, and well, they should be good, right? So,
Yeah, and no, but I feel Tesla is very close to product-based things because see,
true.
Tesla like here people spend time making cars and softwares, while Google developers is just spending time on software. So they have
Yeah.
like release dates, release cycles. So I guess
Uh-huh.
it's quite
Uh-huh.
very because again Tesla even doesn't have features like stuff like I guess they have like Model 3. So you want to buy Model 3, go with the Model 3, but you can
Say okay,
never
okay, like I want an intersection
Model
between Model
3.
3 and Model.
Yeah,
I think like that is the worst place to be in, wherein the customer, like every single customer is asking, hey, I want this thing, I want that thing, and
right, right.
I,
You can't tell him I want a pink
yeah,
Tesla if it
exactly,
doesn't has
exactly,
that color in it. So
yeah,
no,
exactly.
it's very close to a product. And McDonald's
Hmm.
is very McDonald's
It is also very close to a product. Okay.
just forgive me. I have dogs at my they just keep on barking every time. So yeah, so
Sorry.
McDonald's is like McDonald's is more like a real estate thing. They earn a lot from
Mhm.
that. And there is some interesting story behind the ice cream thing, right? Like the machines never work. You had written it
Oh, I
down, but I
actually
don't
saw
remember.
one video. Actually saw one video from Johnny Harris about this why it doesn't work. He's like, that seemed to be too interesting. Actually, there's this company, I think its name is Taylor. They make all
Mhm.
these they like Taylor is the one who actually makes all of these machines, okay? Now what happens
The ice
is
cream one,
like oven, yeah, yeah, like all of the ice cream machines
soft
for
ice
like
cream. So,
McDonald's, okay?
uh-huh.
Now, what happens is, with McDonald's, they have a tie-up that wherever they open up their own franchisee, they need to use this Taylor ice cream. They cannot use any other machine. Okay, so. Oh, by the way, like whatever I'm telling you, it is like based on the video from Johnny Harris. If you like want to get some more detailed description about it, you can just go and watch that. But like the thing is that because this one company, Taylor, actually makes all of these ice cream these ice cream machines,
Hmm.
they have this lineup that whenever it goes wrong, you cannot call a normal technician. Okay, you need to call a tailor technician to come and fix it. Okay, and the tailor technician charges you, I guess, a few $100 for like per hour or something. Okay, so basically the cost is huge, 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 just to like repair these companies. Sorry, the machines.
The
Okay,
machines.
now what happens is, whenever it's like night, and the franchisee is about to close down, what they do, they like put in milk, and they say, okay, like just boil this milk, because otherwise the milk will go bad, right? So what they do
Right.
is, like they like overnight, first of all, boil the milk, and they just let it to cool below freezing point, so that
Hmm.
the entire milk and the cream and all will just come and become ice cream later on. Okay,
Okay.
now what happens sometimes is, because whenever something heats, it expands, right? And when something
Right.
cool down, it contracts. So
Contracts.
in the machine, if you just put a little bit more milk, or a little bit less milk, it
Hmm.
creates a problem wherein the machine recognizes it as a problem, and it does not complete this cycle that it needs to complete. Okay, so because everybody in that franchisee does not really know how to use this machine, they just see some error code, and like on top of it, that like it does not say, hey, you like just put a little bit less milk or whatever. What they actually do is, they like say error code 1723, so that you just don't have any idea what the fuck is going on. Okay, and
Oh.
like in this situation, the person in the franchisee now either they need to do the same thing again, which will like most likely just go bad, or they need to
Okay.
call the owner to say, hey, this is not working. Should I be calling the technician? Okay.
So there's
Now,
no other
now
brand producing this thing?
no, there are other brands producing this thing, but McDonald's has a tie-up with this company that they can only use it. If they don't, then they will not open up a franchisee with them. That is their
Why
tie-up.
so?
That
Oh,
is what they have. Like, no, that is the power of monopoly that they have. Okay, and
the
uh,
the machine, right? Like the ice cream
yeah,
machine,
yeah,
rice.
yeah, yeah. So the thing is,
Damn.
whenever something like this happens, it's because now the owner needs to decide: is it fine to spend a few $100s on the technician, or is
Okay.
it fine to listen to some angry customers who like who just don't get ice cream? So most of the times what happens is whenever something goes wrong, because it does not give any meaningful error messages, nobody can correct it except the technician. In fact, I think in the IPO, in some like the annual budget, they said that about 47% of their revenue comes from these repairing works. Like, just think about it. Okay, Taylor's 46% revenue comes from this sort of a repairing work.
Damn.
Man, like, what is happening?
I guess
And it's
like
just
they are very well programmed it to get errors too. I guess
maybe like
that's clever.
they have certainly not given any meaningful error messages, so that nobody can actually understand what is happening. And the thing is that if you do call another another technician who will like come and fix it, your warranty is void and you will not be served anymore, and ऐसी चीजें होती है. So yeah,
Damn,
it's
monopoly.
just monopoly at play. It's just monopoly at play.
That's great. So that is a great thing. So like Tesla and Mac, Tesla is also a product based company. We can say McDonald's. I'm not very
Mhm.
sure because they have to have a lot of service people too. Because there
Yeah.
are no people.
Mhm. That's
People
just kind
cannot
of like
eat
an
McDonald's.
intersection. I think I
Intersection.
think we, I think it's not like we can just divide, we can just categorize any company into, hey, this is a product based and this is a service. It's more like a spectrum. Is
Spectrum.
it
Yeah.
like does it like tend more towards a product based company, or does it tend to more towards a service based company? If you see
Yeah. Even
Tesla,
Apple.
yeah,
Even
yeah,
Apple.
like
They
even
charge
Apple,
too much, right, for
I
repairs.
mean, charging too much. Again, they are also limited by like building phones, and they need all these people to like come and build phones. There's also this sort of a
Right.
human bottleneck that you have.
Yeah. So
So yeah.
they're like again there are intersection basically. Because
Hmm.
like see, even Apple calls its other products, which we basically call products, they call it services. That are
Hmm.
these things like Apple Music or Apple Podcast, because this is at last a service until and unless people come and
Yeah,
upload here, it's never going to happen. It's a product, but
yeah.
people can use
Hmm.
it. But one end of it is a service thing because people have to put
Hmm.
some time. Singers or whatever these music producers have to put some time to create a music and upload it to Apple Music.
Exactly.
So
That is
that's
that
like
is like
a
the
service
perfect
thing.
segue for introducing cursive. We also
Yeah. So
were in this sort of a
yeah,
place wherein
custom.
people needed to come and upload blogs, right? So
So
that was exactly the place where we
the
fell
place
apart.
where we fell. Yeah, and so
Yeah.
Cursor is like this audio blogging website. If you don't know, you should visit that. We have kept it alive right now. So
Hopefully, by the time we are watching this, God knows it will be up or not. I'll try to keep
yeah.
it up, but can't say.
So go to cursor.com instead of R. The spelling is
It's
CURSIVE.
CURRSIVE.com.
IVE.com. So
If
go
you can
try
find it,
that.
good
It's a
luck.
great website. And it's like we
At least
use
the technology is
machine
great.
learning. Yeah, the technology is great. So we use
Hmm.
machine learning. No, the overall UI UX is also great, man. The overall UI UX, whatever
That's
we
like
focused on
I
is
mean, I mean, like
great.
that is like the complete engineering of the product. Basically, the
Yeah,
engineering
the
of the product
engineering
is
part is
great.
product is good. The
Marketing is
sales and
where we fell
marketing
apart.
is
It's like
what
where
got
we
us
fell
down.
apart.
We'll tell that story in
Yeah.
some other
Mm.
podcast. But yeah, so always like cursive is like this thing where we use AI and machine learning to create these realistic sounding podcasts from for writers. So writers come and write and we create these realistic sounding podcasts. Now we
Mm-hmm.
got this idea, we started working on it. Well, we didn't start for that. We had some idea like we wanted to create a WordPress with like where you don't need to
Yeah.
purchase a domain, which was a very bad idea. But yeah, we started with a bad idea. We came up on a good idea, and today,
Uh,
like Cursor is up. But again, as Shubham said, we failed in the sales and marketing part terribly. So no one knows about Cursor about except a few people and maybe the team.
mm. Actually, I
So
think we have about
always start with marketing.
170, 180 signups currently on Cursor. We
Yeah,
have about like 15 writers, close to 38 to 40 blogs, 40 audio
right,
blogs, I should say.
right, right.
You can like go and listen to them if you like really want to. So, well, this was by far one of the best things that we have ever built, and that is
Ever
Cursor.
built, yeah.
And the thing is, like, I believe, I believe part of the reason was, for one, we were not very stern on what is that we were building, because it started as of
Mm-hmm.
very, like, being very different. It started off being, okay, we will like give you your own place with your own themes and all of that, to like finally coming onto this sort of an audio blogging idea, which was kind of like turning the entire tables around. But it was really great. First of all, because of this thing, and the second one was because of the great team that we had. It was just a fantastic team. Like, everybody was just
Mm-hmm.
so lovely to work with. Okay.
Right.
Now let's just talk about what were the actual problems of why we were not able to take Cursive to the level where we had at least a few
Planned.
thousand daily customer. Yeah.
See, first problem was maybe we focused a lot on tech perspectives,
Mhm.
rather than focusing on the like sales and marketing.
Yeah.
I thought technology will market itself, but that's not the case because if no one knows that such a product exists or such there's a product that uses such technology to make their life easier, no one is going to come because your website is relatively new. That doesn't even it doesn't even appear on the search engines, so there is no way that they're going to come through the to that website. And the niche is not very new. Like, blogging is something that is happening for several years, and there are a lot of blogs that are matured right now. Like, consider Medium, which is a really big organization based whose main aim is to blog. So, even if we search as blogging, there was really no chance of Cursive coming up until and unless there is really good SEO and there is a considerable amount of traffic on the domain that is cursive.com. So we didn't focus a lot on sales and marketing. We focused on coding and coding and coding, which probably doesn't work. You have to have a really
Yeah,
good marketing
because yeah, like, product needs to be great, but also the marketing needs to be great, because
marketing.
what
Yeah.
what good is a product if it does not have any consumers, right?
Hmm.
Now, I think one more thing that you very very rightly figured out is that we were still very very reliant on these other people, and basically we were like very reliant on what is it that they are going to do on the platform. It was basically a platform wherein it will develop as and when more and more people come onto the platform, right? And that is
Mhm.
like one of the reasons why we were able to actually reach a lesser audience, because we did not really have a lot to offer to them. Okay, we have like created this thing, but for that we need these creators to come and write these things, and then we need these readers for them to be attracted to these blogs that the creators have written. So yeah, we really need to figure out whether or not, or like basically how good can it actually be to have a lot of customers, and basically how are we actually segmenting our customers. Like, do you have a creator and then do you have a consumer, and how does the relation work in that respect?
Relation
that
work.
is that
And
is
also,
like that is like yeah.
one thing also went wrong. Like, we ourselves afterwards understood that blogging is not something that we want to do for our entire lives, or we are going to dedicate a lot of time on it. Though we did dedicate 13 hours per day at the stage of development, but later we understood blogs are not something that we ourselves are so actively involved with, right? So,
I agree. Yeah.
in case
So there
in
was
case
this
there was
there
someone who
was
is
this
blogging, who is
mishap.
passionate about writing, maybe you could drive the
Exactly.
platform themselves. Maybe it would become a
Yeah,
private
true.
blog. you know
Mm.
there
But
would be, but
nevertheless, it would. I think that is how even Medium started its journey. It was started by
yeah,
the
a
Twitter
few.
CEO, but still. like it was a closed community. It was only a personal blogging for a few limited people. And then when they
Mhm.
saw a lot of people coming through, then they just opened it to everyone. So yeah, you really
Yeah.
need to build projects which
And
you
Medium was
know that
closed.
your
Like
will be
Medium
there.
was not
Yeah.
open for
Hmm.
everyone
Yeah.
initially, and they were
Mm-hmm.
like few people who built it for themselves, I guess. No,
Yep.
actually, it's something like Medium wanted to do a business, but they wanted to do a business like a traditional blog. So they were really focused on
Exactly.
keywords and stuff, but they wanted these Google ads there or some stuff of ads or maybe sponsorships. But later, maybe then their platforms, user experience, even if you write today, it's so great that people really wanted. There are blogs there, maybe, some people requested them, can I write here or something? And then they decided that, we'll start accepting people. Maybe then they went around different niches, and today, like, absolutely anyone can go and write there. Maybe that's what they did. But initially, they had like a small block
True.
plan. I guess he left Twitter that
Mm-hmm.
time.
Okay.
Even if you say Twitter is all about writing, right? Like,
Yeah.
Twitter is all
I
about
mean,
stories.
that is like part of the reason why I really love Twitter, because you don't really have a lot of people like showing off their faces and, hey, this is how I look, hey, this is where I went today. It's more like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm building, and this is the thing, and this is that, and basically everything is like written format, so you are free to basically figure out everything for your own, or as to what is it that they mean. It's basically, it's kind of like reading a novel versus seeing a movie. Of course, seeing a movie is great and all, but it cannot really
Mhm.
replace the fun and the art of actually reading a novel itself.
Right, right. Like,
Okay.
Instagram is all about showing off, but
uh
it's great in some
it is.
cases if you wanted to,
And
if
there are
a
some nice
person is really
people
like,
too. I mean, there are like
if they
nice
really
people
want to do
everywhere.
photography or stuff, then Twitter
Yeah,
may not be for them,
exactly,
because Instagram is
exactly,
all about Instagram started because it
exactly,
was around for,
exactly.
for photography.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Okay.
then that changed around. So
So
coming like,
with that,
product versus services.
hmm, what is it that you think will be better?
See, it
Personally,
depends.
I'd say it's,
Uh-huh.
like,
Yeah,
I mean, for like me as a person, I'd say I'm more like a product person, because services oftentimes, because see, okay, let me just tell you about what is it that I want, and we can just talk about what, like, what will be the great thing for you based on who you individually are. What I
mm-hmm.
need is, things should be in my control, and I should be able to change the things when I think that change is necessary. Okay.
Okay.
So when you actually go into the product side, you become a lot more customer reliant. So let's say you are a freelancing firm, and then all that you will be building, of course you're like coding, like, let's say like you're a developer, and so, like, of course you're coding, or like if you're a designer, then of course you're like designing the websites and all of that. But at the end of it, it is a website that somebody else is there, and you don't really have a complete control over all of the creative
All
processes
of the
about it,
creative,
at least
yeah.
at least not in most cases. There are some companies which really give the freelancers their individual freedom, and they don't really interrupt much, but really like finding such client is like one of the hardest things you can do on the planet.
But maybe that's right, like, because you're developing for that company. Now that company can have different principles. That company can
Mm-hmm.
have different needs, different customers. So they
Yeah,
have to understand them
understandable.
and then tell
Understandable.
freelancers, go according to this so that
Yeah.
our people love that
Mm-hmm.
product or something.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. And then coming on to what does product base, okay, like, with, like, with the statement that I just said, you might just feel that, okay, like, it's a menial job to like do some service based things, but it really isn't. You
It
can
is.
make a whole lot of money, and you can start building and actually earning money way sooner in case of a service than in case of a product. Because for the product, you cannot really sell it for a hefty cost. Let's say like building a website for like some company, you can like very easily sell it to them for $3,000, $5,000. You really cannot
Mhm.
charge that much for any product that you build. Almost any product that you build, you just cannot charge that much, no matter how much effort has actually gone into building that product.
Even see the
Because
latest MacBook.
product, yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, just see the MacBook things, right? They hire like hundreds of engineers who are like working on this one machine for like the year, and then they charge it at, let's say, like $3,000, $5,000. I mean, I do understand 5,000 is a lot for an iPhone. Like 1,000, like 1,500 is a lot. Of course, that money is a lot, but it is almost nothing when compared to amount of engineering and the amount of creativity and amount of entrepreneurship that has actually went into building that product from scratch up.
Yeah, and the thing goes around, right? Like service based, you can't have 2 billion users that Apple has,
True,
right?
true,
That's the
true.
power of products, right? Like $2,000 and 2 billion, like 2 billion iPhones right now worth $1,000. That is very different story then,
Exactly.
because that's what product has. And services like it's okay. See, 2,000. Even if Apple has 2 billion users, that whole money doesn't go to one person's bank account. There are a ton of people working at Apple right now. Maybe lakhs, maybe. Yeah, maybe it's
I
easily
don't
in
think
lakhs.
in
They
that.
have a there are like Apple has headquarters, not headquarters is in what we call this, I guess California,
Mm-hmm.
Santa Clara Valley. I don't remember the name.
Yeah,
Something like that.
Santa Clara, I guess. Yeah, I think it's in
Cupertino,
Santa
yeah.
Clara.
Thanks. Yeah,
Cupertino,
isn't
is it?
Cupertino and
No?
yeah, Santa Clara Valley, Cupertino, California. That's what their
Okay.
website says,
Uh-huh.
and they have they have their like the uh what we can say, they have a company in every other country, including India, Japan. They dominate Japan. They have one in China. They have their plants everywhere, from production plants. So easily can have in lakhs, I guess. Apple may
Okay.
be
Yeah,
employing a lot of people.
most likely. Yeah.
So so that doesn't go to a one person. But in case of services, again, services, if you're an agency, then like you should try to maintain as less people as possible. Don't take a lot of people, because 200 people just making one website is not anyway practical. Why would you even need to?
Basically, giving it a bit of a metaphor. If you are a service-based company, you can be a plateau. Basically, it starts off high and then it remains pretty constant from then and there. But
Mhm.
in case you are a product-based company, it's like a mountain. You do start off from the sea level, but then you can go and touch the sky.
Yeah,
That is actually the difference. So.
yeah, and both are good. Both can make you a millionaire. Like
Yeah.
recently in India, there's one unicorn who
Mhm.
has a service-based brand which helps
Okay.
bigger countries get like a social presence. So they create beautiful
Oh.
animations and they plan everything, the brand strategy of the companies, and it has
Mhm.
touched $1 billion today. They
Wow.
recently got funded with 115 million something. They are now a unicorn.
I think even if you see, what is it, beer biceps,
Monk
monkey,
Entertainment.
they are, yeah,
Yeah,
they are also a service based company, but still their valuation is just incredibly huge, right? Because they do
yeah.
provide the social media services to many great
It
brands,
also matters to
and
whom you
that
provide,
is how.
right?
Yeah, yeah, true. So it's, I mean,
Today,
it's like,
Monk is
it's really
selling
not
to top
like
YouTubers.
one is bad or the other. It's really
No.
a lot up to you, and if you do like service based startups, man, that's a world for you. Really, really, like,
Yeah.
you will have more money that you will ever need. So don't really worry about that.
Yeah,
uh
so coming to that, I would like to that, like, in case you want to keep your business small, you want to work with only 5 to 10 members, because the
mhm.
agency maximum should have a 5 to 10 members,
I agree.
and
Yep.
we should be able to generate maximum revenue from there.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like 5 to 10 members, you don't really want to become a $1 trillion company. You want to keep
Mm-hmm.
things small. You want to spend a lot of time with your family, and though it's not true that you'll get a lot of time in agencies, you have to work for that clients, and there are a lot of revisions. So yeah, that's not the case. But if you want to keep it small generally, don't want to scale and don't want it to become really big, then you can go with a service based brand. It's totally fine, because not everyone wants to create the next $1 trillion company. You can have an impact on the world
True.
even doing small things, like helping other
Yeah.
companies or stuff like that. But in
I mean,
case you're
it's
the one who dreams about, really big companies like I am, I'm always behind Apple. I want to,
uh-huh.
this, if you really imagine about scalability, if you want the company to be
Uh-huh.
that scalable, then you can't do that with services. Like you can't
Yeah,
create a $1 trillion company that provides manual services.
I believe that, because I mean, finding so many people like I just think if you just provide some web services to people, you cannot scale to that level because you will need to hire so many other people. You cannot really scale. Basically, use technology if you want to scale. There are many smart ways to do that. If you like, in case you are like building websites, you can like create something like GPT and then automatic website builder. Like that is the thing wherein you are still providing service, still providing customizable things, but you're working on a very separate way to actually solve that thing completely.
Hmm.
Basically what I mean is find out ways of actually technologically solving a problem instead of sitting down and like jotting the problem yourself with like humans like really operating as the gears everywhere. That is something that will actually give you scalability.
Yeah. So nothing is bad. Depends on you. Go with a
Yeah.
service if you really want to, because at last people find the product. So Apple doesn't go to every other individual and tell, like, this iPhone is
Mm.
good, you take it. They tell that to bunch of people. Now out of that bunch, maybe only two like that phone, so they will go there.
Yeah.
In case
Mhm.
of web designing or whatever service, you have to go to companies, because
Mhm.
there are a hell lot of agencies, and they you have to give a customized solution to them. You can't give a generalized solution to every other company. So like, consider you are providing chatbots. You can't give e-commerce
Chatbot, yeah.
chatbot that you created to a SaaS company. Why would they even need that, right? They need
Yeah,
customized
exactly.
solutions. They have different needs.
Mhm.
They want different data. So yeah, you have to
Yeah.
customize it every time. And if you really want, you can, because you maybe I consider, when you create a company like Google or Apple, or maybe even as big as some other companies like Zoom or something, then probably you have to put 100% of your time into that, because you have to think about the brand strategy and stuff. Or on the other hand, for
Yeah.
some reason, I feel agencies, if you operate some agencies, you get a lot of time to explore other things. Like, Zoom today has to work a lot, and a lot of energy to create something different, because their
Mhm.
customers are different and stuff like that. Consider Google now. Google cannot completely switch. So tomorrow, if you're an agency, you're doing web design, you can easily go to web development, because nothing changes, right? Like, you can still give web design clients. Now, Google, on the other hand, cannot start a social network like Facebook. Though they can, they will not, because why would they, right? Their revenue streams are right now through search engines. Choose what you want. Don't run behind things just because someone is saying.
That's the best thing. So from this talk, we had this one conclusion. Actually, two conclusion. One is that do whatever you want. Don't really fall with okay. I want to make something which is like completely scale, but you don't always need it. You will always have enough money if you're good enough with your work. And the
Hmm.
second thing is that try and use technological solutions rather than human solutions if you want to be scalable and if you want to create a product based company. On the other hand, if you want to make a service based company, it's great for you to go with humans and to build that human connect that you want. So do you
Yeah.
think that's it? Do you think that
Yeah,
that
like,
like concludes the
the
podcast?
podcast, you should be able to research a bit, don't directly start anything.
Yeah. Hmm.
Research a bit, go into yourself and see what you like, what
Yeah.
you would like. Maybe you want to help
You know,
people, or give customized
again the thing is
solutions, both
that
of them.
you cannot really categorize everything into just two parts. You cannot always say that hey, this
Right.
is a product and this is a service based, because it is a complete spectrum and people lie somewhere in between. So we will have to see. Actually, the people listening to this podcast, you will have to see where is it that you are lying in that spectrum, and how can you be more scalable, or like how can you be more human oriented if like that is what you're looking
Mhm.
forward to. So
Yeah.
sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Basically,
with that, I hope this
hope
was
this
good.
helps you
Yeah.
choose whether you want a service-based brand or a product,
All
or
right.
maybe try both of them and see
Yeah.
what you like. That's
Yeah.
another
There is
thing.
like yeah. There's like I think just the most important thing will be don't be afraid of failing. That's all. Just try as many things as you can. Try your best to actually get them to work. If you can't get it to work, don't worry, you can always you can like always start another one. So okay, that was
Mhm.
good. Let's let's say it a day
Conclude here.
then. Cool. Yeah,
Yep.
sure.
Meet
Cool.
you next time. Bye.
Bye bye.